Alright everyone, welcome back into another NBA DFS video. Got the Monday 10 game slate here. Going to be touching on all the top plays, going position by position, showing you guys the core plays and giving you guys a first look build. If you guys enjoy the coverage, make sure to give a like and subscribe. So starting with the guards, obviously Luka is going to be in another great spot. Yeah, if we can afford to pay up for Luka, by all means do it. I think, it's kind of to the point where we have to try to force him into our builds. Let's just look at what he's been able to do. And these have all been pretty great matchups recently, guys. Yeah. Since the Minnesota game, he's had the Lakers, great matchup, 60 DK points. New York, 100, obviously really went off there. 2 games against Houston, 80 and 80. And then against the Spurs, 85. So he gets Houston again. That's obviously going to be a game in which we want to be targeting. That is going to be a high-scoring game. And, I mean, if he's putting up 80, he is still too cheap. So hopefully there's enough value. And obviously on a 10-game slate, there should be some value that opens up throughout the day that we just don't have just yet. Okay, so Luka, we're going to try to find a way to play him. Even if he only gets us 60 DK points, I think we would take that. From there, who are some other players that I'm looking at? LaMelo Ball certainly in a great spot. Just with Kelly Oubre off the court, he does see a big usage bump. It's over 30%. So it's no shock that he is being as productive as he is. The issue with him is that I think we're only going to be getting around 50 DK points at that 10K price point range. I want to be locking in, 50 to 60 DK points. I think the ceiling, sure, he can get to 60, but I think the likeliest thing is around 50 DK points. I don't love that. Okay, obviously he could go for more than that, but I'm just not banking on it. From there, like all these players right here are all just like fine plays. Like I don't really feel a need to go out of my way to play them. I do want to point out Kyrie Irving though, still too cheap. He should be someone that's a 9K price point play. I don't really get how it hasn't been corrected. I know he's not exactly putting up 9K numbers, but his consistency has been there to the point where they should give him a price bump. We see him consistently just hitting over 40 DK points. So basically, especially in this matchup with the Spurs, basically if we want to lock in 42 DK points, like by all means play Kyrie Irving because it is a safe play. It's a play that I like a lot. So we did get news that Darius Garland is projected to sit, and Donovan Mitchell saw his price bump really increase. The issue with that is he doesn't really see his fantasy production go up with Garland off the court. It's only about like 42 fantasy points per 36 with him off the court. Sure, could he go for 47, 50 DK points? That is certainly within the realm of possibilities, but at the same time, we have seen him not be productive with Garland off the court. It is far from a lock, and it's far from a safe play. Like the reason you would play Donovan Mitchell at this price tag is trying to chase that upside that really hasn't been there consistently. Not a terrible play by all means, but not a safe play. Like I would much rather play Kyrie Irving where we are basically locking in 40 DK points. Do want to point out Clay as well. Really just been productive in his last 3 games. Obviously, the Warriors have been without Wiggins and they've been without Curry. Well, this game, they're most likely going to be without Jonathan Kuminga as well. All that should mean that Clay is going to get the minutes and his usage is going to be there. The shot attempts, obviously, if we can get a guy shooting the ball 20 times at 7.1, I like that a lot. That's tough not to love. And if we get like a couple more rebounds, a couple more assists, he could really go and break the slate. At the price tag, Clay is something I think we need to try to play. Another play that I do really love is going to be Jamal Murray. This seems like a strange price point. So one might think, why would I play Kyrie Irving at 8.7 to try to lock in 40 DK points when I could try to play Jamal Murray, who has been consistently putting up 40 plus DK points at a much cheaper price tag? And that would be a valid question. Like, yes, Murray is much more risky, much more of a GPP risk type play, but the chances are he is going to get 40 DK points like he has gotten most games lately. It's a weird price point. Obviously, if you're playing cash, not a cash play. If you're playing GPPs, a pretty strong GPP play. So he's also someone I'm looking at given the price tag. Like there's a chance you could play Murray and Clay and be locking in, I don't want to say lock, be getting around 80 to 90 DK points for a total of like 7 or 14.3 to get 80 DK points. Like that'd be very solid, 90 DK points. Obviously Luka can do that at 12.4, but you get the point. Like very awesome. So what's interesting is that Kevin Porter Jr. has really struggled against Dallas, and then Jalen Green has actually been pretty productive, 34 and 41 DK points. So given the price tag, I'd probably rather play Green in this situation. I don't know if that's like a matchup-based thing or whatnot. It just seems to be some sort of trend. So, yeah, I think Jalen Green is worth putting into our player pool, especially if you are someone that's trying to max center. Devin Vassell, we need to see if he's going to be active. If he is inactive, Trey Jones, Keldon Johnson, those are some of the players that we'd be looking at. Do want to point out Dante DiVincenzo as well. 3 out of his last 4 games have been over 30 DK points, shooting over 10 times in those games. Really, it seems like he had an off night shooting that night, and he kind of knew it, so he stopped shooting the basketball. And he still was able to put up 23 DK points in that off night shooting against Charlotte. So we know we're going to get the minutes there, especially with Kuminga out now too as well, most likely. Dante DiVincenzo should get those minutes, and we should be getting around 33 or so DK points at a cheaper price tag. To me, he's definitely more of a lineup filler, but I feel comfortable playing him. And honestly, there's so many strong plays at this like 5.9-ish price point range on this slate. It's very strange. Like, I might do a fair and balanced approach and just trying to lock in a bunch of players that like their floor should be 30 DK points tonight, and one of those would be Dante. So LeVert is going to be probably a popular play with Darius Garland out, and he should be going to be a strong play. So his usage rate with Garland off the court is 21%, and his fantasy point total per 36 is around 32, which is obviously really good. If we can get those minutes like he has gotten the last two games, going to be a strong price point play. We probably are going to be getting around, let's just say 25 to be conservative there. DK points, fantasy points, and I'd be good with that. Like, we just kind of have to play him. Love the fact that we can play him at the guard or forward position as well. Kind of going back to the Kyrie and Jamal Murray example, using Dante and Caris LeVert. Both of them have the same positional eligibility. It makes more sense to go with LeVert over Dante, just given the $1,000 price discount where they're probably going to have the same production. You know, LeVert just makes a lot of sense. Some people are probably going to go back to the well with Alec Burks. I don't hate that, but I feel like he's a GPP only play. Alex Caruso expected back. He'd be an okay value play. Don't love it, don't hate it. Gary Payton is back. Just kind of wanted to call that out. Just fun for him. First game back this season. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the forwards. LeBron's still very cheap, and KD as well. Like, both are fine plays. I think if we're trying to pay up for someone, we're probably trying to go with Luka and then LeBron. Now, LeBron's currently questionable. As always, if he sits, you're looking at Westbrook. But LeBron, been very consistent fantasy producer. Had a 2-game stretch in there where he wasn't getting 50 DK points. Oh well. I get a great matchup going against Charlotte, a matchup in which he just went for 51 DK points against, and I do expect him to be able to put up a number like that. The question is, can we get that elsewhere? Probably, but a safe play tonight. Pascal Siakam finally had a bust game, okay, where he only put up 37 DK points. Prior to that, he had been a stud. If you want to play him, you can. I don't know. I think I'd rather just play Luka rather than mess around with any of these guys up here. Kawhi Leonard finally seeing his minutes go up and finally being more productive. I don't like the price tag. I feel like if we were getting him at like 7.8 or 7.7, yes, we could go ahead and play him. I feel like this is just a slightly too high price point, especially given the matchup with Miami. I don't love that. Paul George, though, on the other hand, is certainly someone we could be looking at. Basically going to be getting 40 DK points with the upside for him to go for 50, 60 DK points. So Paul George makes a lot more sense given the price tag. And this is where I'm struggling. Like, why would I play LeBron or Siakam when I can get pretty close to similar production from Paul George? That's kind of my thought process there. Keldon Johnson, I'm fine with. If Vassell sits, we've seen him be productive the last 2 games with him out. And then we look at 3 out of his last 4 games, over 35 DK points, which is what we would need to get at this price tag. And that's what I don't like about Johnson is the price tag. And really the minutes haven't been there up until last game. And then just looking at these two, TJ Warren finally saw a big minutes bump last game where he saw 31 minutes. So if we are going to be getting 31 minutes out of TJ Warren at this price tag, that's going to be very intriguing to me. We saw him go 0 for 3 from the 3-ball range, which, probably not going to happen again, and 3 for 7 from field goal. That kind of goes hand in hand. So I just feel like, yes, if we're getting that many minutes, he's going to shoot the ball much more than that. And thus, this is a cheap price tag. Like, we probably will be getting around 26 DK points out of him with the upside for him to go off, really. And then Bay as well, with Killian Hayes still out, he is someone that should get some minutes, should get some run. It is a soft price point, but not a play that you love, not a play that you are excited about. Easton is someone that has been productive. I don't know if we can play him. I wish the price tag was a little bit cheaper, but right now as it sits, like a decent value play. Lamb is someone that certainly interests me as well. Just given the fact that Kuminga is out, I kind of expect it to be Lamb starting, but they could easily just go a Poole, Dante, Clay lineup and then have Green and Looney. They could do that as well. The thing is, Lamb should be in for a decent amount of minutes, maybe a slight minutes bump, probably 26 minutes. So we're probably going to get around, let's just say 18 DK points at a cheap price tag. So he is someone that, given the nature of the slate as it sits right now, I do think we want to be trying to play. Eric Gordon, also an interesting play, playing a decent amount of minutes. Okay. That's really it. You're chasing the minutes, chasing the shot attempts, chasing upside. Given the price tag, not terrible for someone that could, get hot and break a slate. And now getting into the centers on this slate, Jokic, back end of a back-to-back, okay, should be fine. Like, just a stud, we know that. Going against Minnesota, that's kind of an intriguing matchup as well. Once again, I think I'd just rather pay up for Luka, but Jokic a fine price point play as well. Embiid with Maxey back, with all the Sixers healthy, I don't know if I can play Embiid. I would rather play Jokic. Bam is certainly a decent price point play, especially if someone like Jimmy Butler sits, who's currently questionable. That would just elevate him as a play, and that's really the only way I can play him, I think, at this price tag. We did see him go off against the Clippers earlier, though, for 52 DK points. Just a solid game from him, so it wouldn't be shocking to see him have a good game, even at this price tag, but I do feel like we are paying up a little bit too much there. Christian Wood has now had 4 straight games of over 40 DK points, which is obviously really good. The issue with Christian Wood is we can't lock in the minutes. Like, we are getting 21, 29 minutes with the Mavericks mostly healthy. That's my worry. The price tag also hurts a little bit. Like, I don't like that. And this is where I'd much rather go with some of these guys right here. Okay, let's start with Plumlee. Plumlee is in a great spot going against the Lakers. Obviously, poor defensively against opposing centers. Plumlee has been kind of on a tear recently, especially given the price tag. 42, 31, 39 DK points, even 29. Like, that's not going to hurt you too much. 31. Been much more consistent lately. Especially, I think he missed like a game in there, or was like injured. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. Anyways, since then, Ben playing extremely well. The minutes have been there for him, benefiting with LaMelo Ball back as well. So him at his price tag is intriguing for one. Went for 31 DK points against the Lakers as well. But then we could look at the flip side of that matchup, Thomas Bryant. Thomas Bryant went for 25 DK points against Charlotte, which, not great, but he did have 13 rebounds and, was 2 points shy of a double-double. And that's really the biggest difference from him. It was just an off-night shooting, it seems like, because other nights, 19, 11, 21, he had been getting that. And given the fact that he is someone that could break the slate if he does, like, get a double-double, 46, 39 DK points, minutes weren't there against Miami. That was a blowout. Like, he could be someone that's really breaking the slate. So obviously want to be on him, but it doesn't stop there. Jakob Poeltl finally getting some minutes again. It was strange where the Spurs just weren't giving a lot of players minutes, and he was one of them. 47, 39, 21, 41 DK points over the last few games, and we have seen the minutes tick up consistently throughout those 4 games. So if we are going to be getting 30 or so minutes out of him, at this price tag, that's an extremely cheap price tag. Let's just remember when we were getting those minutes from him, he was someone that was highly productive. Okay, and was someone that was priced higher than this. So a very strong GPP play, because we can't guarantee those minutes are going to be there, but if they are, huge. And Nika here as well. He is someone that, as long as he stays out of foul trouble, is in a strong matchup going against the Golden State Warriors. He is someone that I think we want to be trying to target with Clint Capella still out. The minutes have been there for him, which is huge. I mean, let's just talk about the games in which he hasn't gotten to foul trouble. 40 minutes, 44 DK points. 37 minutes, 43 DK points. Against the Lakers, 43 minutes, 36 DK points. Like, given the price tag, like, he is kind of the best option of those lowest priced centers. And I think we might just be playing 2 centers on this slate. So Marvin Bagley is back for the Pistons, which kind of means Duren and also Isaiah Stewart. Not exactly plays you want to be making. What was strange was he got 29 minutes on the back end of a back-to-back. Now, he was coming back from an illness, but if that's a sign of things to come, and I think we can basically lock in 20 minutes. But if that's a sign of things to come, if he can get 25 minutes, very cheap price tag for him. So he's a very interesting GPP play as well. I think what we are seeing is that we're probably going to be running out 2 centers on this slate. All right, so let's go ahead and give you guys the core plays. So as it sits right now, my core plays are going to be looking like Klay Thompson. I do like the price point for him. 3 straight games of over 40 DK points. If he's going to be against someone that's getting 20 shot attempts at this price tag, that is something that I really can't pass up on. We just hope that he has a good night shooting and isn't cold. Okay. From there, Karis LeVert with Darius Garland looking like he's going to sit. Going to be a very strong price point play. He's someone that averages 32 fantasy points per 36 with Garland off the court. Has a 21% usage rate with him off the court as well. Obviously, Luka, just given the matchup with Houston where he's went for 80 fantasy points the last 2 games against, and that's just huge. You can't really ignore that. And then Nika as well. As long as he stays out of foul trouble, going to be a very strong price point play. I love the matchup going against the Golden State Warriors. I kind of expect him to go for 30 plus DK points. And then Thomas Bryant, I will be treating kind of as a core play as well. Playing 2 centers does make a lot of sense on the slate. I think, I expect him to really have a great game. More of a GPP core play, whereas maybe not cash, but like GPP wise, I think the upside is really huge. Like 40 DK points out of him going against Charlotte. That's a matchup that I want to chase. And then Mark Williams, not going to be a core play, but I forgot to mention him as well, guys. Obviously really went off for us in that game against OKC. Gets another good matchup tonight against the Lakers. Okay. And he has been someone that has been getting minutes. You know, if he can get 15 or so minutes, not a terrible GPP play. Okay. Part of the reason why we liked him against OKC was it was a great matchup. They get a little bit more minutes, but that was with Richards not getting that many minutes. So someone you could play in GPPs, I probably still will have some ownership to him, maybe 10%, just trying to capture that upside as well. Now let's go ahead and get into the first look build. So we do have a decent amount of salary left over to make a lot of lineup paths work that we would want to go with. Like I said, I don't mind Dante. I think he's going to give us, let's just say, like 30 DK points. I think that's a very strong price point for him. Then we have 4.6 left over. Not something that I love particularly, but you could go TJ Warren there. Let's see if there's any guards we could go with instead. Don't exactly love that. So kind of a strange price point to the point where I'd probably try to rebuild slightly, but not a terrible first look build. Let's go ahead and show you guys what the lineup optimizer is saying is the best build right now. I'm actually just going to bump Luka's projection up slightly, and then I don't know, 15%. You have to give the lineup optimizer 2 data points to filter off of. So let's go ahead and see what the best lineup is as it sits right now. So in this situation, and I don't know if I agree with Gordon Hayward, fine GPP play. Seti is going to be a decent value price point play with Garland off the court. Sengun, I guess I didn't even mention him. He'd be fine. Draymond Green, fine. I know the data likes Babe more than I do. And Terry Rozier, GPP only a play. So just kind of interesting there. We can see a lot of these are about the same though. 289. So we can see this slate is projecting to be a pretty high scoring slate. Like yesterday when I did this, it was like 270 was the lineup average. And let's just see that real quick. Lineup average, yeah, 288. So obviously we have a lot of strong plays to pull from, and it's looking like it's going to be a fun one. Let's just look at teams as well. Cleveland, it likes, just giving the value there. That makes sense. Charlotte, it likes, given the matchup. Dallas, it likes, just obviously Luka. Houston, it likes, given the matchup as well. So interesting stuff there. But that's all I have for you guys for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Give a like and subscribe. That helps me be able to put out more content for you guys. All right, let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing. My goal was to get to 5,000 subscribers yesterday. We're like 35 short of that, so obviously the faster the better. Didn't meet that goal by New Year's Day, but oh well. Like, I appreciate all the support thus far, and we're gonna keep it rolling. All right, thanks, and as always, let's keep cashing.